With the 2023 NFL Draft coming up, I'm going through the best of every positional group in this class. This is the 8th adaptation of the series, this time going through the top 10 linebackers. With a positional group full of athletic and versatile pieces, these are the 10 best linebackers in the 2023 NFL Draft. I'm Chase Keller, and I hope you enjoy. Before we start the video, I want to mention that no 3-4 outside linebackers / edge rushers like Will Anderson and Nolan Smith are on this list. A lot of guys came close to this list as well, so from number 11 to number 14, I have Sacramento State linebacker Marte Mapu, Utah linebacker Mahmoud Diabate, Arizona State linebacker Kyle Soley, and Vanderbilt linebacker Anfernee Orji. Kicking off this list at number 10 is Oregon linebacker Noah Sewell, former 5-star recruit and brother of star NFL offensive tackle Penei Sewell. He was very successful with Oregon, but his skill set may not translate to the NFL. What Sewell does excel at is functional strength. He is powerful at all points on the field, whether it is through edge rushing, blitzing down the middle, and tackle pursuit, and everything in between. Throughout every game, he was primarily lining up in the box to utilize his strength as much as possible, but he had the alignment versatility to see snaps as a stack linebacker and off the edge. In pursuit of the tackle, he has a very high motor and will play from snap to finish. He has a solid eye for the ball and is always running for the tackle. On the downside with this, his instincts do allow for constant overrunning and playing too aggressive in pursuit. He is an okay tackler with a surprisingly bad range and okay technique, and often missed tackles for that reason. Hopefully his tackling ability will improve in the NFL, as he has the frame to develop into a good tackling linebacker. He was 6'1.5" and 246 pounds, providing interested franchises with a wide base with both upper and lower body definition to run the defense at Mike linebacker. The issue with Sewell is that he is mostly frame and power. His athletic traits don't expand out too wide. He is a stiff linebacker with okay elusiveness, subpar quickness, and a lackluster top speed. There isn't a lot of room to athletically grow with his frame, so he's expected to be stuck as a powerful and versatile linebacker. Sewell is a lot higher on other draft boards, but with colleges who don't usually competing in this positional group, he sticks at number 10. In the draft, he is a safe pick at linebacker. I'm giving Sewell a C-, translating to a 5th round grade. At number 9, I have Cincinnati linebacker Ivan Pace Jr. Pace is more of a potential underrated gem in this class, and it's primarily due to the great upside that he has. Pace is an all-around versatile threat, but his versatility pops out most in the pass rush. Whether it's pressuring through the A-gap, B-gap, or C-gap, he finds the effectiveness to get around any blocker with a variety of efficient moves, primarily unlocked through his quickness on his feet and burst off the snap and contact. The athletic traits continue in his work as a linebacker in both run and pass defense. He has generally good speed after his explosion off the line. He can run from sideline to sideline efficiently while still having room to grow in his lateral movement. While Pace has great contact balance and a great feel to absorb and contain blocks, his own functional strength is a negative. When faced against guards in blitzing situations, he was often neutralized and made minimal progress. With space, he is a fantastic blitzer, but once focus is put on him in blocks, he is engulfed. Generally, his frame is also a concern for the NFL as he comes in at 5'10.5" and 231 pounds. His physicality makes a bit of sense with frame, and in the run, he is often a non-factor when athletic upfield blockers come into play. His frame contributes to his rawness as a prospect as well, and while he has appealing upside, he is a bit raw and could be a career backup or even third-string linebacker. As a prospect, Pace is raw but has a manageable skill set to give him the developmental upside as a late day 2 or early day 3 selection. My grade for Pace is a C, translating to a 4th round talent. In the 8th spot, I have Auburn linebacker Owen Pappoe. I know that he started climbing boards after his athletic combine performance, but as a linebacker altogether, he is still very solid. Let's keep it on the same note and start with athleticism. He has the top speed and east-to-west skill to mirror rushers or keep them in the backfield. He has the explosiveness of a guy like Nolan Smith as an edge rusher, and the foot quickness to change direction or resort to a different assignment. Pappoe's coverage is better than his run defense, and his ability to work in zone coverage deserves a shout out. The depth that he has, his understanding of what's going on behind him, and his overall coverage abilities was a shocking discovery. He could use some improvements in man coverage, but with his athleticism, his coverage upside is through the roof. Negatively, he does struggle to deconstruct blocks, and he struggles against lengthy blockers in the edge and blitzing situations, which hits his original positional versatility. The technique he has in shedding these blocks is a bit lackluster, especially when you take into account his 6 foot, 225-pound frame, which is atypical for the linebacker position. He also missed a significant chunk of tackles at Auburn, which is more of a stat sheet observation than a film observation. It's still concerning, so he is likely to stick to a 4-3 weak side linebacker position. With his athleticism, though, he does have a nice positional upside. Papo's skill set is already good enough for the NFL. His two biggest strengths are very high, but he may need to utilize his athleticism to form a wider skill set to get a starting position. I'm giving Papo a C grade, translating to a 4th round pick talent. The 7th best linebacker in this class is Tulane's Dorian Williams. The last Tulane prospect to get drafted during day 2 was Matt Forte back in 08, but along with running back Tyjae Spears, I think Williams has a good shot to achieve that. Another great athlete on this list, Williams holds solid top gear speed with a great burst and nice quickness in the open field. He is also a solid tackler with good wrap-up technique present everywhere on the field. His athleticism contributes to a nice motor with grit from snap to finish. His pursuit to tackle an open field rusher and get him at a good angle is good for a growing prospect. Continuing on with his open field abilities, Williams has a nice mirroring technique and typically leads to wins in the open field and rare missed tackles. He is tagged as a leader by Tulane teammates and staff, partially due to his great motor. The big lingering issue with Williams is his body control. He has okay balance, but the issue primarily comes from throwing himself out there randomly. His wrap-up technique is good, but diving at someone head first to make a tackle is not. He also isn't the greatest with deconstructing blocks, which takes away upside to work as a pass rusher. He was more present in run defense and coverage while at Tulane, which makes a lot of sense given these pass rushing traits. His reaction time is also mediocre, and it sometimes results in late angles and mirrors, taking away opportunities to make a tackle, especially behind the line. Williams is a solid linebacker with the potential to be a late day 2 pick, breaking the long drought of day 1 and day 2 selections out of Tulane. My grade for him stays outside of day 2 though, as he gets a C grade, translating to a 4th round pick talent. Coming in at number 6 is Texas linebacker DeMarvion Overshown. I wasn't a big fan of Overshown at first, but after diving deeper into his tape, he is a very solid linebacker with a well-rounded skill set. Overshown has solid linebacker skills, but his pass rushing versatility and efficiency is the best trait about his game. His ball tracking skills in run defense and pass rush is a big provider of this, and he is great at chasing down running backs and quarterbacks. Yet again, we have an athletic linebacker in this class, as Overshown is very fast on the field with great explosiveness, pursuit, and grit. Overshown's coverage is very solid as well, giving teams another big trait to look his way for. He is very aware as a Mike linebacker, and given great containing skills on the outside, he runs a solid course in man coverage, but his main work is through zone, where he works through routes very easily. Tackling is what holds Overshown back, as he missed a bunch of tackles at Texas due to an inconsistent technique, a mediocre physical profile, and other concerning attributes. Because of his struggle to make tackles, he is inconsistent in the run and shouldn't be relied on as a premier run defender. This lowers his ceiling a significant bit. Overshown also has a lean frame at 6'3", 229 pounds, and with defensive back experience, that could make him a defensive back in the NFL. If I am an NFL team, I am drafting him with the expectation of moving him around at linebacker and defensive back to fully utilize his developmental and positional upside. As a prospect, Overshown is a solid linebacker with great zone coverage and athleticism that gives him a high developmental upside. I'm giving Overshown a C+ grade, translating to a mid to late 3rd round pick. Getting into the back half of the list, I have Daiyan Henley from Washington State at number 5. I saw a couple of lists with Henley near the top, including PFFs with him at number 1, and I can somewhat get behind that. Henley is a constantly developing prospect, but he already has a bunch of value for any team. His positional versatility stood out a lot to me, as he played a lot of outside linebacker, defensive end, and nickel cornerback with Washington State. He was consistent at all of those positions. The positional versatility doesn't help him avoid being scheme specific. He struggled in stack alignments and was just okay in the box, so as a linebacker he will likely stick to a 4-3 outside role. He can still line up as a defensive back though. Along with that, Henley has pure athleticism. Shocker. In space, he is shifty with a good top gear speed to chase down running backs or catch and run receivers. He was fantastic with space, but he has athleticism in tight spaces or restricted areas as well. Just all around, Henley is valuable. He has the positional versatility and special teams impact to just be valuable and reliable to any team. He may not receive a starting role immediately, but because of his continuing development, he can be placed in a lot of places and will work everywhere right away. On the downside, Henley's instincts allow for subpar play reads, overly aggressive angles, and overall mediocre decision making. This contributes to his overall raw skill set, which while including a lot of upside, he is very new to linebacker and may have to make another position switch or two depending on the scheme he is drafted to. Overall, Henley is an intriguing prospect who will be valuable to every franchise. Take Henley if you want a raw yet experimental piece. I'm giving Henley a C+ grade, translating to a mid to late 3rd round pick. At number 4, I have Alabama linebacker Henry To'oTo'o. A couple of years ago, I heard a lot about Sewell and this guy right here, and he maintained a nice skill set throughout his career with Bama. To'oTo'o is the smartest linebacker I have talked about thus far, and he has more specific skills than broad skills. The one I noticed most is his ability to consistently mirror running backs in the backfield and in the open field. He has the quick feet and lateral movement to keep up with the running back, and all around he is a great run defender with solid gap control and block deconstruction. He also has coverage skills as well in both zone and man. In man, he continues his mirroring when guarding receivers. He is not the greatest at covering speedy receivers, but the shifty ones he is great with for a linebacker. In zone, he is solid at reading routes with solid awareness, but depth-wise, he is not the greatest, commonly allowing balls to fly past him. As for physical traits, To'oTo'o has subpar contact balance, and athletic guards will be able to knock him down. He is good with deconstructing these blocks as I mentioned earlier, but he will want to avoid the athletic guards pushing upfield. He also has iffy timing on his tackles. His angles are good, but when going in for a tackle, he is often too aggressive, too late, or both. He loses running backs through his grasp for this reason, and he will need to improve on these tackle inconsistencies to be effective in the NFL. Overall, To'oTo'o is a good linebacker prospect who is widely known as at least a top 5 linebacker in this class. He performed well at Alabama, and his skill set should translate well to the NFL. To'oTo'o gets a B- grade from me, translating to a late 2nd to early 3rd round pick talent. Entering the top 3, I have Arkansas linebacker Drew Sanders. I really like Sanders' upside as the versatility he brings may make him the best overall defender in this linebacker class. In fact, Sanders may have more upside as an edge rusher, and I came so close to scouting him there. He has the positional and pass rush versatility to primarily rush the edge, but is great in the A, B, and C gaps as well. His pass rushing comes with great leverage, smart decision making, great instincts, and other factors. One big factor is his patience and focus during the rush. He lets his progressions play out through and meets his assignment at efficient paces. He is great with run defense for this reason. He also just has a lot of upside at linebacker. As I said, more upside comes as a pass rusher, but he still has a lot of room to grow as a linebacker as well. He can still develop better in coverage to work all around, as his overall coverage is just okay. The issue with Sanders is his tackling. With a poor technique along okay tackle range and body control, he currently has a problem missing tackles. He does have solid hit power, showing that he could develop into a better tackler in the NFL. Sanders' functional strength may also hold him back in his pass rush development, as he lacks the true power to knock an offensive lineman off of him, and lengthy tackles may have him engulfed off the edge. Man coverage is also a slight concern as he struggles to mirror receivers and read their routes. His zone coverage and man coverage upside is good enough to not consider this element in some ways. As a prospect, Sanders is a high upside all-around linebacker who at least should develop into a reliable linebacker with nice pass rushing abilities. I'm giving Sanders a B+ grade, translating to an early 2nd round talent. At runner-up, I have Iowa linebacker Jack Campbell. Campbell is an all-around impactful inside linebacker, and any franchise who selects him will be selecting a very safe prospect. Campbell was renowned for his leadership while at Iowa, and teammates loved him and his play style. He is a fantastic communicator before and during the play. He is pretty much the epitome of a 4-3 Mike linebacker, but he can line up elsewhere if needed. Campbell's frame is also very appealing to NFL teams, standing at 6'5", 249 pounds. He is very physical with nice functional strength, and he also moves pretty well for his size. He does lack explosiveness though, which takes away positional upside. At Mike linebacker, he won't particularly need the best explosiveness, but he won't be able to line up on the line. Campbell is fantastic in zone coverage. He is a great processor, he is aware of receivers' routes and tendencies, and he has solid depth awareness as well. Another big Mike linebacker trait. Man coverage is a struggle though, as he does not have the elite top speed to keep up with slot receivers, which is another contributor to the lack of positional upside. Yet, overall coverage is good simply due to his zone abilities. Finally, he could also use improvements on tackle timing. In run defense, he is a solid tackler with great instincts, but his timing on tackles could use improvements to avoid a continuing trend of runners slipping through his arms. Overall, Campbell is a very safe pick and a great Mike linebacker. He has alignment versatility without positional versatility, and he should be good stuck where he is at. I'm giving Campbell an A- grade, translating to a mid to late first round talent. Topping the list is Clemson linebacker Trenton Simpson. Simpson is currently not the most talented linebacker and is a little scheme specific, but with the great amount of upside, he is my favorite linebacker prospect. Simpson is probably the most well-rounded athlete in this linebacker class. He has elite speed for the position, is explosive off the line, mirrors rushers in the backfield, and is often one of the quickest guys on the entire field. With his athleticism, he is fantastic in pursuit, has a nice motor, and was the grittiest player on Clemson's defense last year. Along with his athleticism, he has very good coverage, especially in zone coverages. He is a great read and response linebacker, always finding ways to prevent any ball from being thrown his way. In man, he continues his mirroring skills, but his on-ball instincts could be improved on. Along with that, Simpson has great positional versatility with continuing alignment upside. He was moved everywhere at Clemson, from inside to outside to D-line to D-back. Surprisingly, he may be scheme-specific in the NFL and locked into a 4-3 outside linebacker role because of his struggles in the box and when stacked in 3-3-5 schemes. He reminds me a lot of Micah Parsons, though, with his positional versatility. Simpson's concerns are a bit minor, but he has a lot of these minor concerns. One of these being deconstructing blocks, as his physical traits are a bit underwhelming. He also has some angle inconsistencies when attacking running backs on stretch plays, but these can be fixed at the next level. Simpson is an elite at anything outside of athleticism, and he doesn't have a major concern. With a lot of upside, he is my favorite linebacker in this class. In an era where first-round linebackers have become underwhelming, Simpson comes out on top, receiving an A- grade, translating to a mid to late first-round talent. I hope you enjoyed this top 10 linebackers list. Did you agree? Did you disagree? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I'm Chase Keller from Chase Keller Journalism, and thank you guys so much for choosing this channel as your source of sports coverage. See you guys in the next video.